Hey everyone, Alodar here. Today's video I want to talk about a recent development that's been talked about on my stream nonstop for the last couple of days. And this is about a recent supposed leak that's been posted on the European German forums for World of Warcraft. So this leak here, obviously it's all in German, and it was reposted on Reddit. I've actually gone through the Google Translate to make sure that it is translated, properly as far as Google Translate goes. So if you go and copy and paste this into Google Translate, you're basically going to get the exact same thing that this guy's posted down here. He's posted the English translation, which some points of it is a little hard to understand, as Google Translate is not perfect. But he takes what he thinks are the most important points and posts it here or up top so that we can go through it. And some of them are really interesting. And normally I just want to preface this whole video by saying that I take leaks and rumors with a grain of salt. I've heard plenty of them, plenty of what people have said that they've heard, or et cetera, when generally that's just how they feel. They've got no evidence to support it, so I don't really post videos on it or anything like that. This seems to be a little bit different because there is actually evidence to support what this guy is saying. And keep in mind that this post on the WoW forums, it was posted on the 24th of September, 2 days before Blizzard announced that there was going to be gameplay at BlizzCon. So he's posting about this 2 days before. So this is where the evidence is supporting what this guy is saying. He's talking about what Blizzard's going to do before Blizzard's announced it. Maybe it was a lucky guess, but maybe this guy actually knows what he's talking about. So let's quickly go through this. I want to just go through the points really quickly, and we'll talk about them individually. So WoW, Classic WoW is in pre-alpha. We already know that. They're coming up with a demo, a playable demo. So that's what pre-alpha is. Mostly all quests are done. So they're talking about I believe they're talking about the quests that you get in the world. And they're starting to work on basically all the instances, dungeons and battlegrounds and stuff like that. So it sounds like the world stuff is done, which is fantastic. That means that they're a lot further ahead. The demo itself confirmed to me that they're a lot further ahead than I projected. I projected that we weren't going to get Classic World of Warcraft launching until the 15-year anniversary, but recent developments, specifically the fact that there's a demo, have led me to believe that I was wrong, and I'm happy to admit that I think I was wrong. I think it's going to come out a lot sooner than I had projected. 17 devs are working on the game. 2 former NOS devs are assuring authenticity. Now, this point here, it is kind of interesting that he's specifically stated an actual number, 17, not roughly 20 or roughly 15. He's got specific numbers. Now, maybe he's guessing, but maybe he actually knows someone that works there or has some inside information. 2 former NOS devs for assuring authenticity. I don't understand why Blizzard would feel the need that they'd have to do that. They're just hiring 2 people off the street to come in and tell their devs, hey, no, you're doing this wrong. I'm pretty sure Blizzard would know if the game was authentically vanilla or not, right? Like, I don't think they need NOS devs to tell them that. Now, maybe these NOS devs applied and they were perfectly capable. They had credentials, they know what they're doing, and Blizzard decided, hey, yeah, we welcome you to our team. But I find it hard to believe that they hired 2 NOS devs to come in and tell their developers how to do their job or how to do it properly. I just don't see that, but maybe they're working on the project as part of the team. They don't think there'll be a long beta phase. That makes sense. The game's not very hard to develop by today's standards, so I don't think that they need a long development. Down below, they talk about it being about 2 weeks. And that seems about reasonable to me. That's, people are going to be hitting a level 60, stuff like that. So a lot of the world quests and stuff, or quests out in the world, are going to be tested and stuff like that. They're going to find probably the issues that need to be resolved. Now, here's the big one that a lot of us are going to be talking about. The only changes. Remember, hashtag no changes, right? Like, that's what we've all been preaching since they announced beta. Since they announced Classic, that's what Nostalrius was opened up for. They wanted no changes. They wanted an authentic vanilla experience, right? So now we're getting the changes. So The first one is improved textures and spell effects, but still using old models. So the old models would be like your character, buildings, cities, like they're going to look vanilla-like. Now, the improved textures and spell effects, I've talked to people that know a little bit more about this than me. It could mean one of two things. One, it could be they're improving the textures and spell effects so that they can run like smoothly on these higher end machines, 4K monitors, etc., etc. But they're still going to look vanilla-like. However, you could also take it to mean that they're going to change the spell effects so that they're going to look different than they were in vanilla, and that is a huge mistake for me. I want people to be able to experience vanilla World of Warcraft as it was, whether they're experiencing it when this is released or in 10 years and 20 years down the road. I think that classic World of Warcraft needs to be put in like a video game museum so that people can experience it exactly as we did back in the day, without the bugs and all that sort of stuff, you know, the crashing servers and stuff like that. I don't want, you know, big bangs and, you know, stuff like that when people are casting spells. I want it to be exactly the same so people can see the game and play it as it was, this video game that basically changed gaming forever. I think it's really important to do that. So I'm hoping the spell effects aren't going to be like updated spells like they are now. I don't want BFA's version of Frostbolt. I want Vanilla's version of Frostbolt. I want it to sound exactly the same and look exactly the same. So improved view distance. This isn't a big deal to me because you were actually able to do this back in vanilla. So you could go into the config file and change it. Most people didn't have a machine that could actually dramatically improve the view distance, because if you did that, it would lag your machine out, and quite often it would just crash your system. So you were able to do this in the config file anyways, so they're just allowing you to do it now. So, and then colorblind mode. This this is actually a good thing in my books. It is a change, but it's just an accessibility issue. It's going to allow people that have visual impairments to be able to play the game a little bit easier. It's not going to give them an advantage, and it's not going to take away from my gameplay. I won't even know that somebody's watching or playing in color mode. You know, like it's fantastic. Battle.net will have some PvP some restrictions on PvP servers. It's mentioned down below in the bottom part down here. Essentially, there's going to be that wall back up between Horde and Alliance if you have and apparently it's only on PvP servers. So if you're a Horde, you're gonna if you've got Horde on a server, you're only gonna be able to play Horde on that server. If you want to play Alliance on the same server, you're gonna have to have a second account basically. So that's how you got around it back in the day. They're putting that back in. I think it's fantastic. It's going to bring that hatred back to Horde versus Alliance. I played Horde for the first like 7-8 years of World of Warcraft, and everything that we said about Alliance, all they do is gank and blah blah blah, all this other stuff. When I switched over to play on the Alliance side because I wanted faster queue times, guess what the Alliance were saying about the Horde? The exact same thing that the Horde were saying about Alliance. But anyways, I wanted to bring back that hatred. It's a lot more fun. It brings back meaning to the game when you actually kill them in the open world or in battlegrounds. So 8 servers per region, and it gives the list of different types of servers: 4 PvP, 2 PvE, 1 RP PvP, and 1 RP PvE. I'm amazed that I got through all that without messing that up. Anyways, I think this is a little short-sighted. One thing it doesn't mention is if they're going to increase the population cap, and it doesn't say that they are in the changes. So maybe the person that's leaking this out just doesn't know, so he didn't include it. But I find it hard to believe that 8 servers is going to be enough unless they increase the population cap. But again, they didn't mention it. Keep in mind though that when World of Warcraft was initially launched, they started off with a certain number of servers, and then they very quickly had to dramatically increase the number of servers. Why? Well, because people were waiting in like 6-8 hour queue times to get into the game, and I tell you what, nothing pissed people off more than waiting 6 hours for a queue to finally get onto the server that they were on to play for 10 minutes just to have their game crash, and then they'd have to wait again. Trust me, it happened all the time to people, and so they eventually had to dramatically increase the number of servers. I don't believe 8 servers is going to be enough. They're going to have to dramatically increase the server population or dramatically increase how many servers are out. So we'll have to see which one they take. But 8 times 2,500 is not going to be enough. Sorry. No in-game shop at the start. That's good. And I'm hoping if they ever include it, it's only going to be stuff that they had in vanilla World of Warcraft. I don't want people to have access to being able to buy mounts that they couldn't get in vanilla World of Warcraft. No, if you get a mount in vanilla World of Warcraft or classic World of Warcraft, you should be able to display it and say, look at me, I'm fantastic. I actually got this Onyxia mount by actually going and, going through Onyxia, fighting Onyxia over and over and over again. Not, oh yeah, I paid $25 on the store. Please don't do that, Blizzard. Please don't do that. Subs will be included in retail WoW, and you pay less for classic only. This is fantastic news, and I've been saying this since before, since last BlizzCon actually, that I thought it was going to be one subscription for both versions of the game, and people were arguing with me saying no, it's going to be 2 separate. I didn't think that they could do that. And Mark Kern in his recent interview with the Classic Cast guys basically confirmed that Blizzard makes it a point not to gouge their customers. They make sure that whatever they provide as a service, that it's worthwhile for the customer. They're not going to charge $30 a month for a subscription, even though there'd be people that would pay it. They're not out to gouge their customer. They want to make the game accessible to everyone, and they understand that for some people, $15 a month it's a lot of money to be playing a game. A lot of people don't like having to pay a monthly subscription. So the fact that you paid less for classic only, that brings up another point. Are you going to have the current version of the game? Meaning, are you going to have BFA in order to get the subscription for classic World of Warcraft? Or are you going to be able to wait till classic comes out and then just pay the classic only subscription, download a patch, not get BFA, but still be able to log on to classic World of Warcraft? We're going to have to wait to see that, but that's something we'll have to wait and see on. It's interesting. Launch of about April or June 2019. I've been a proponent since BlizzCon, up until they announced the demo, that I was adamant that they were going to be releasing the game on the 15-year anniversary, November of 2019. I thought it was, I'm going to be honest, I thought it was crazy to think otherwise. It was just like, there's no way they're going to announce it. They're going to release it a lot earlier than that because they don't want it competing with BFA. If they'd launched it near the date of BFA, there'd be a lot of people playing Classic, and the BFA numbers would suffer as a result. So I said they're not going to launch BFA in August and then Classic in October or November. Like, there was just no way they were going to do that. However, recently it's been people understand now that it sounds like Diablo 4 is in the process of being developed, and the plan is to launch that in late summer or early fall of 2019, which means if Classic was launched at that date, it would directly compete with Diablo 4, which would be a disaster for Blizzard if nobody decided to buy Diablo 4 because they were all too busy playing Classic. So they can't launch it near Diablo 4, and they can't launch it near BFA, so they got to do it in between. And that falls during this time, launch of about April to June 2019. And if you talk to anyone in marketing or stuff like that, they'll tell you what I just told you. Like, you don't want your two products competing for the same revenue. So this separates it by a good enough amount. Where, for example, myself, I bought BFA. I've been playing BFA. I will continue to play BFA until Classic comes out, or the demo or beta or whatever. But otherwise, I will always be playing BFA. And then Classic will come out, and I'm going to switch to Classic. And when Diablo 4 comes out like 6 months later, by that point, I might say, hey, you know what? Maybe 1 or 2 nights a week I'll play Diablo. So that's what they're planning on doing here by the sounds of it. This is the big one here that got everyone talking, and why we're listening to this rumor like, hey, there might actually be something to this. There will be an announcement and gameplay at BlizzCon. Keep in mind, this message was posted 2 days before Blizzard announced that there was going to be gameplay at BlizzCon. So that's why people are looking at this leak and saying this person might actually know what they're talking about. So it's important. Now the bottom part here is basically just it's this post by I'm gonna butcher it, so I'm not even gonna try. This post in German was Google translated. It's been reposted here. I have double checked it to make sure that it's authentically the proper Google translation. And all the main points that this person thought were important were brought up out here. I'm not going to go through all of them. It's just a lot of the same stuff. I'm going to post all the links and stuff to down below. However, there is one point that I think is extremely important to talk about, and it's this point here. And it might not look like much if you just kind of glance over it, but I'm going to read it and then I'm going to explain to you why I think it's so important. The game itself is launched via Battle.net, and the game is okay. So the game is launched itself via Battle.net World of Warcraft. You can then switch the game by pressing a button on the bottom right on Vanilla. It's probably going to say Classic, which changes the whole browser for Classic login screen. I was already shown and just looks awesome. So again, this person who's giving us this leak is suggesting that he's privy to actually seeing the game, right? So and now I said that this was a really important point. I'm going to tell you why now. This point here, he's saying, is what it's going to look like when BlizzCon hits. So when BlizzCon, imagine BlizzCon hits and they've gone through a bunch of the stuff, and now it's time for them to talk about Classic. They launch up the Blizzard launcher, and then suddenly in the bottom, they launch up the Battle.net launcher, and then suddenly in the bottom right hand corner they've got the Vanilla / Classic launcher. They click on it. They've got all their big huge screens on the stage, and then the whole audience is sitting there. They press the button and boom, it's the old Vanilla launcher. It's going to blow people away, and it's going to be fantastic if that's what they're doing. And why I'm saying this is so important is because he's giving specifics as to how this is going to happen or what it's going to look like. And if he's indeed correct, and it is he's described here, it's going to suggest that a lot of this other stuff that he's talking about is actually correct. And then we can start looking at this with more than just a grain of salt. I've already started to think that there could be some truth to all this, because he nailed the announcement at BlizzCon. If he nails this, which is the next point that we're going to actually be able to fact check, because we're going to watch it. If he nails this, I think a lot of people can look at the rest of this and say, this guy probably has an idea as to what he's talking about. So over the last 2 days that I've been streaming, all people want to talk about is this leak. I've got dozens and dozens and dozens of people that are coming into the stream, and all they want to do is talk about this leak. So I thought it was important to create a video about it and give my 2 thoughts about it. If you're interested in talking about this leak or anything else to do with Classic World of Warcraft, you're more than welcome to come to my stream. It's twitch.tv/Alodar. You can follow me there, and we can shoot the SHIT about anything to do with Classic or World of Warcraft in general, or just anything else that we talk about on stream. But I'd like to hear your thoughts. Let me know in the comments below what you think about this leak. I'm going to post the links down below so you can read them yourself and judge and make an informed decision yourself. But I really think that this next point at BlizzCon, if we see this develop the way he's suggesting, we can take the rest of this leak and go, this might all be true. Anyways, if you enjoyed the video, I would really appreciate it if you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Give me a thumbs up on the video. I'd really appreciate that as well. And come by my Twitch stream at twitch.tv/Alodar. Talk to me there whenever I'm live. And we can all get excited about Classic together. My plans for Classic is that I'm going to be playing Classic whenever I possibly can. So that means the demo. Whenever the demo is available, I'm going to be doing nothing but playing demo. I'll be leveling up a character to as high as I can get it. Then I'll be rinsing and repeating as long as the demo's available, which sounds like it's about a week. Then when open beta starts, if I'm not in an earlier version of beta, I will be playing the open beta non-stop on stream as often as I can, whenever I'm available to do so. It's usually about 6 nights a week. And then when Classic launches, I'll be playing nothing but Classic non-stop. So if this sounds like something you'd be interested in, please stop by my stream. I do hope that you enjoyed the video, and I'll talk to you guys again sometime soon. Thanks. Bye.